Let's see if it works. I might have to go back to the studio and refresh this real quick.
Oh, you rolled over.
Oh, damn!
Yep, missed that one.
Right to previous resistance. To the freaking penny. Look at that. All I had to do is adjust the box to see that. My bad. We're still testing it, though. It's trying to break out. That's a genuine end pattern on a 1 minute chart right there. That would set us right to 411.
I'm going to have to give myself a note or a reminder to set these things up every week.
There we go. We're live.
Yep.
Howdy, YouTube. I have the comments turned off because I've been busier than a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest over here, but good to see ya. All right, finish that bar. Could see that eke out to 411.15 with a quick wick. But 410.75 was just met. Go, baby, go.
Go, go, Gadget, go, baby.
Right?
What are we at? I'm still doing this. I got this almost done now. Thursday.
Amazon's getting ready to rip too. Hang on. It's right at the top of a previous measured move set up at 103. Bank of America is ready to finish that move back up to 29. And I'm kind of waiting for Tesla. I want to see it pull back to 195 before I get long on it, but I want to see a reversal down there. This is bearish measured move complete. That was from this top here down. It can give us a third leg right to about 196, maybe even reach 195, and then I'm going to look for a reversal there to go long. I did not short this. Apple's still kind of consolidating here. Microsoft is looking bullish. Nvidia, it's still right at that resistance level, man. It's so crazy to see it right back to this number, but and Turtle Beach right back to 10 bucks. Be damned. That is a double top on that thing, though. Bank of America looking for a pullback. Let me get Turtle Beach up here real quick here. Hold on a second. This is one of the swing trades I called out last week. And that thing met its target at 10 bucks pretty damn nicely, right? I was looking at this consolidation, the same setup that we had with Intel Corp. And this is your key resistance here. Let's make that stand out a little bit. If we break that with some force here, we could see this gap close all the way to 13 bucks. So definitely look at Turtle Beach, but pay close attention to what this looks like. That's one top, that's two. Ignore this little blip here, that was erroneous. If this double top gets rejected here, we'll likely retrace back to about $9.35. But if this breaks out of this range and breaks $10 with some force, we could definitely see it reach for that gap fill. So definitely one to watch for continuation. I would not take a position until I see that break, though. And it's got to be a nice close, you know, outside of like $10.25, somewhere in that neighborhood. Definitely be ready to trade the break on that, but don't jump in too soon. About the best advice I can give on that one. All right, SPY coming back to the middle of the previous box again. Didn't quite make our full end pattern with a bar, but we did tap it almost with a wick. We got to 410.85 here. And this is a classic end pattern, or basically it's a short-term measured move. When you see a big bar like this and you get these two hammers here, it almost always comes back, reaches half of this bar with a wick. It did perfectly there. Usually you get at least most of this bar in the outcome of this popping up to the bull side. And it got pretty damn close. I mean, another 5 cents would have completed that. Got to 410.85, reduced itself with a wick. Now we're back into consolidation, but this 8 period on the 5-minute chart here is still pretty strong. We could see this be a support zone. We'll go ahead and mark it out on our 5-second chart. It's right in that ballpark. If it can hold this and bounce here, we can still continue into a trend and reach for that 411.50 target. That 411.50, in case you guys weren't with me earlier on YouTube, comes from a daily candle. That's this wick here. Well, this wick right here. This inverted hammer from, what date is that? February 16th. And I just didn't go off this wick because I didn't want to magnetize it to the body of this, because I wanted to match it with what we were looking at for support today. But that is a liquidity box. There will be a bunch of limit orders in this, but if we can break out from here, we can start leading into a longer term bullish trend out of this. You know, we've got this whole thing looking like a big old inverted head and shoulders, and if we get above the previous resistance, above 415 here, we could melt up and start attacking the previous targets in this trend. We can start hitting all these control bars, expect another pullback to test 415, and then go. So we could see some bullish moves out of SPY here. We're in that area. It can also reject up here and break down, turn this into a big old head and shoulders top. We got left shoulder, head, right shoulder here. It can still reject that. So if there's some serious bad news in the market, it can certainly drop back down. We could see it go as low as like 360 and maybe extend to 340 if it gets really bad. But so far, we're looking pretty bullish still in the short term and medium term. But that 415 is going to be the absolute roof to decide if we're going to continue to be bulls or not. It can certainly reject there or even off of 411.50. But it's all in that liquidity from that daily candle right there. So we'll see where we go. Meanwhile, we'll be trading the short-term stuff. So far, this is looking like a big consolidation here on a 1-minute chart. We've made our measured move. We've made our half-leg extension. It can pull back and consolidate here for us today, or it can continue trending up to that 411.50, 411.75 area. If it hits 412.50 today, I'll be blown away. But if I see a rejection there, I could certainly short the pullback on that. All right, let me look at this here.
Yep, I'm back.
Yeah, my drawings on my 5-second chart are being weird again.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll go to
they're
extend
just
the line
lagging
out.
the system.
Well, no, I'll go to extend the line out. I'll let go of it.
Mhm.
You know, slinky's right back
Just
to
snap
zero.
back. Oh, that's weird.
I don't understand why it does that.
What happens if you draw it within the time frame of the relevant asset?
Um,
So I mean, like, don't pull it past the last candlestick.
I don't know. I got the magnet turned off, so it shouldn't do that. But I'll just use a pivot line. It's easier.
Yeah.
I probably just have to delete drawings again and start over because it remembers everything I draw all the way back. And if I'm drawing stuff on the 5-second chart, it probably eats up a lot of cache on that.
Yeah.
Memory cache is probably limited somewhere. I just have to figure out where it is in the settings so I can allow more.
Oh, I can look that up for you, man. What is it? Weeble? It's
Yeah.
Weeble, right?
Oh, Like there's got to be a memory cache for just the drawings because all the other chart information just it's just generated off of whatever indicators I use. So that stuff is just kind of built in the program base. It's automatic, but all the drawings are cached, I'm sure.
Do you think it would be in Weeble or do you think it would be in Windows?
That's a good question. I don't know if it's going to be a program setting directly or if it's going to be a Windows program setting. That's a good point. Whew. Well, this consolidation is going to do something, and it's starting to look a bit like a top pattern. Key support area is going to be short term $10.25. I'll just draw a pivot on my 1 minute chart for that.
You have your you have the system set up to. I wanted to check on Windows first, so I just started there. You have the system set up to let Windows allocate as much RAM as it wants to for each program, right, for best performance. I mean, I'm just assuming. I'm just covering all the bases. I'm assuming you have that checked in already.
Should be. I'll double check it in a minute. Something's about to happen because I got to go let some coffee out. I'll be right back.
Okay. Let's see if we can find some targets on this thing. I'm going to jump in. Let's check this out. So NASDAQ has a little bit of a triple bottom right now, rallying up. Get that in the 5 second. Let's switch over to SPY though, because that's what you guys are looking at. Possible triple bottom also on SPY. The Russell is not participating in this pullback now, so it's actually put in a higher low. Usually a bullish thing, so that would, for me, that would be a sign of reasonable probability bet of taking a long position at the moment. I'm not trading this at the second because I'm trying to do 3 other things at the same time. There we go. We'd be looking at that on the ES or SPY or whatever it is you're looking at, approaching the previous high as a pullback area. So that would be at, well, I'm looking at the ES, so I have it at 4150. Yes, that's, yeah, there we go, 410.85. Is it marked out perfectly? NASDAQ not participating in that, so it would be, at the moment, this would be kind of a make or break kind of moment. If the ES pulls above it and as NASDAQ breaks through what it has for angular resistance right now, which you guys can't see my chart. Oh my God.
Sorry, that couldn't wait. But there it is. Something happened.
Oh yeah.
Right off that pivot, dude.
Yep.
How cool is that? So it looks like we're staying in for one more top. There's resistance right here. This one I'll draw just a segment line, if it'll let me. Man, I don't know why it's so glitchy to draw on this program anymore. It used to be great. Then I updated it. Right up against a straight resistance line here, just a key pivot. There's no real fan lines to use here unless you want to. You could go straight off the trend, or you can go and link it here for your extension, which is at right now. Easy fan lines. But you don't necessarily have to draw these ones because this is really clean price action. You can just see them. I'm going to draw them anyway on the 5-second chart because they become relevant real quick like. What the heck just happened? I drew it and it disappeared. So right off of here. Oh man, that's embarrassing. All right, let me do something real quick. This one, drawing. Let's see if it'll just delete the 5-second drawings. And then maybe go back to grid. Nope, it
You're a
deleted
fast
the
drawer,
1 minute.
man.
It
You'll be
deleted
alright.
the 1 minute too.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll get to it. And then I want to put Tesla up here because I'm watching for the bottom.
Perfect bounce off that pivot line that you had there. Failed breakthrough, failed breakout.
Noise. And then I want to actually start watching. This is interesting. I saw this being bullish this morning. FRC.
Yep.
We can cruise through 1450. That thing's got a chance of resuming a trend.
What is it, up to 20 or something? That's the next level above it, right? Or is it
Let me go look at the
19
2 hour.
or 20 or something?
Let's see. That first pivot is going to be
18. Oh, 19.
I have it off a control bar. It's like 1883, which is a weird number, but it's right there at the base of that previous drop. Just a first control area. If we can break that, we can start getting into liquidity up in the 20s and then possibly up to 30 for a dead cat bounce to fully complete.
Play out. Suck in some people.
Yep.
Crash into the ground again.
Oh, of course. Yeah, there will be chasers. They're always going to chase it. Here we are at 1450 with a wick. Definitely keep an eye on that bad boy. That thing could get nice swings again. There's Tesla right off that pivot. Damn it. I missed the entry.
Oh, no.
I knew it was coming. That's okay. I have a spread on that already open. I just got to add to it.
Yeah.
It's cheaper now.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Just open more of them. Bam.
I'm looking at NASA NQ coming up on angular resistance now, which I mean, not so surprising considering, and the same thing for Russell.
I'm just going to go back and grab a couple of my key lines here.
Yep.
For SPY.
Can you grab them off other drawings and put it on this?
What's that?
Oh, you're gonna put them up. Okay, I got it. I thought you could grab them from some other drawing, like from some other chart, and you could just copy and paste or something.
I wish. I'm just gonna redraw it. Take me a minute.
Ooh, Russell snapped, broke right through that angular resistance, and powered through it.
411.25 to 411.50 is the top of this liquidity zone. Let me see if I hover on the price. It'll. Oh, maybe I'll have to zoom in. There it is. Yeah, 411.50 is the top of that liquidity box from that daily candle wick. And we're just about there.
Yeah. NASDAQ still playing shy.
FRC threatening that 1450 again. There's 1455 with a wick. That thing can run to 16 in a big stinking hurry from there. I think there's like open air to 16 and up to that 1883 line is a little longer term, but
what is it? It's almost 10:30, huh?
Yeah.
This is going to be a good time to pull back if it's going to pull back.
There's 16 right there off of this bar here. So that drawing's not too convoluted yet. I could probably just pop a pivot on there. There. That will be your short-term target, and then there's another one off of previous damn, I have to zoom into that to get that. But there's another key area here at 15 bucks. So 15 to 16 will be kind of a butter zone, but it can break out.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at the SPY.
That little micro pullback was. I wish I'd been fast enough to catch that.
That's pretty clutch.
Oh.
Great trend day so far, though, man. It's respecting everything we thought and more.
I think we have news at 10:30 though, so
Yeah.
let's see.
Be aware. So I'm gonna draw
Look at
two
that. Now
other.
Nasdaq broke that.
I think that's just it. I think that's just I'm running out of cash for the lines. But then look, it's doing that snap back thing. It started doing that when I updated it. All right, it stayed this time. Nope, it didn't. That's so weird. I don't know why the hell it does that.
It was snapping back yesterday. It was yesterday or Friday. It was snapping back to.
I think I updated it on either Thursday or Friday last week. And I'll go to draw something and it'll completely disappear.
That's irritating. I think it might be time to change platforms. Come over to the dark side and start using TradingView.
There's something. Well, at least I got my liquidity box working. We're right at 411.25. Look at this.
Come over to the dark side.
Boop. No kidding.
Guys, do you use TradingView for trading as well as charting? Do you just link it to your other brokerage, or do you actually trade using TradingView?
That's all I do.
Yeah, I don't use it to trade. I don't. Mostly just because I like separating the two.
So you've funded your TradingView accounts, the both of you, Ricardo and Cassia?
No, I don't use it to trade, and TradingView doesn't have a brokerage themselves.
No.
You have to connect your broker to it.
Which brokerage do you use, Cass?
Me, I use right now. I'm using Optimus Futures. I still have an account with TradingView, but no, I'm sorry, Tradeovate. And then I've used quite a few.
How's Optimus working for you on the real side?
Good. I love it. I'm loving it, man. It's big. I mean, I shouldn't. There's still a lot to go through. So that's what I'm doing over the weekend. I'm trying to focus on going through all the stuff. I love the fact that it's in C++.
Right, that too, because it's a lot more stable in C++. The other thing is, I noticed it was very smooth. Even in the paper trading, I did have a couple of data drop-offs, but I understand it's not prioritized, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I love the way the platform's laid out. It was very easy to use. It reminded me a lot of Tradeovate, even though it didn't have a 5-second chart or 10-second chart that I could trade on. The execution felt very much like Tradeovate. So maybe that would be a good way to replace Tradeovate as a smaller brokerage account that you can use for scalping like we do.
Yeah, no, I really like it. And there's something. I know it's not the same order as NinjaTrader and stuff like this, but I know I have to confirm with somebody else. But they have the same bank as Tradeovate, so it makes me wonder if they have some kind of they're also some kind of association or something like that.
You mean their clearinghouse? Is it Apex?
No. No. It's just when you fund your account with them, you're sending it to the same bank, and it's a little known bank that I'd never heard of before, which is kind of it made me go, wait, how closely are these guys working?
Right.
But I don't know. It might have been nothing. It might just be.
All brokerages will use a fairly common bank. If it's a smaller brokerage, sometimes they'll use a smaller bank. But you look at all the majors, or a lot of the majors will use Apex, and you've got hell, even Robinhood uses Apex. Robinhood, Webull.
Apex is an FRC, or is it?
No, they're it's essentially a brokerage clearinghouse. Essentially, I mean, they just clear all the orders. They're the middle people of the transactions. So
okay,
they're the validation. So effectively, when you get all the same brokerages using, or different brokerages using the same bank, it doesn't necessarily connect the brokerages to each other. They're totally independent. But
I actually don't know what Optimus Futures uses as a clearinghouse. That's a good question. I should know that.
Figure it out.
gonna check it out.
Well, Victoria, going back to your question, I use TradingView and it's connected to my Interactive Brokers. My account is funded, but I'm not trading paper, real money yet. I'm just doing paper.
Thank you, Ricardo. Thanks. I'm just trying to gather as much information as I can about how to set up my stuff at the moment. Thank you for that.
No problem.
What are you looking at, Victoria? Like, what are you
I'm looking
thinking?
TradingView for charting, definitely. I've been using it for the last couple of weeks and it is really good. Much better. Sorry, yeah, TradingView is better than Tradeovate, which is what I was using.
Mhm.
But I've been using Tradeovate to scalp paper, and I've got an Interactive Brokers account, so I might try and link the two. And I might just mess around and find out and see which one suits me best.
Well, you can trade paper. You can trade a paper account on TradingView without linking a broker. They actually have. If you go
Yeah,
down
you
to the
don't have
bottom.
to. You don't have to connect to anything. It's just an actual trading. When you set up if you want to link them, I think you click on paper trading and it'll ask you what you want to link to, and it actually has a paper trading account for trading. That's what I use.
Is it live data, or do you have to fund it to get the live data?
You have to fund it to
Unfortunately,
get
you
live
have
data.
to fund it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm moving some bigger funds to a TOS account that I'm opening. I might still fund TradeStation anyway because I like the platform. And then at the same time, I like having a little futures broker I can just go and scalp with without having a bunch of initial margin or day
Oh,
margin.
man, come use Optimus Futures with me, man. Then we could have fun and like set it up at the same time.
Right. And I did like Optimus. I do like the way it's set up, the way it lays out. I might just do both. I might run, a little $500 account on Optimus, and
you can't do it. You need to deposit at least $1,000.
okay, well,
It's
deposit
because
1,000 on
they
it.
have what's that?
I'll just run 1,000 on it then.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm just so you don't deposit 500 and then go.
Gotcha.
Oh, what's going on here?
Like, need more. Okay.
Yeah,
But their margins are low. I mean, they're right there with
the margins are
Tradeovate.
super low.
So,
It's like it's actually less.
yeah, it is less. It was like 40 or 45 for an MES contract and like 440 or something like that for an ES contract. So it's pretty reasonable.
Yep.
I can live with that. And TOS will never back down. They'll never go and say, "Oh, we're gonna, let you trade with minimal margin, day margin," because it's a risk.
Yeah.
It's not practical. I get it, but you know what? Let people have the freedom to do what they want with their money.
Yep. That's the thing.
There's
Jeremy, you
FRC.
probably know this already. I mean, I just found out Ninja actually has 1 second chart. 1, 5,
Yeah.
10, whatever you want.
Yep. Yeah. Ninja and Tradeovate both have really short-term charts. You can go right down to the 1 tick chart if you want, which is insane. But the only problem I had was with Ninja and Tradeovate. They were just a little sketchy. Sometimes I get locked out of the accounts, and I'd have a couple other order execution issues and stuff like that. And some of the position sizing I was taking, even though I was scalping like a 10-second chart, if I got locked out, in some cases it could have had a situation where it get auto liquidated and blown the account if I was to be locked out. So even with limit orders in place or trailing stops in place, it would still be kind of a wonder if it's going to work type of thing,
That's weird because I've been using Ninja for almost 3 years. Never had that locked out issue.
It might have been just isolated to Tradeovate, but I know that once they bought Tradeovate, they started having a few issues that I was used to hearing things about NinjaTrader where sometimes they would have issues like that, but it wasn't for everybody. Sometimes, you know, you'd have some people where they'd have a better connection depending on where they lived or something. I don't know, but just kind of issues that I noticed happening on Tradovate that were not comfortable. There's FRC. Watch this push.
10:30 pullback on SPY.
Yeah.
I still have a couple key resistance zones to draw on FRC, and I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'll get there.
Oh, look at that, dude. If you draw anything on FRC, I promise you, your Tesla position is gonna.
Oh, of course, yeah,
You're gonna miss something on Tesla, dude.
I probably will.
That's all right.
It's another zone I wanted to watch. Ah, there it is, liquidity, $15. So we'll see if there's some limit orders at 15 to take over. And watch for a halt on around that area if it gets a sudden burst of volume. And SPY's kind of sitting here just having trouble getting through the top of that liquidity zone as expected. It's in the box. And it's just so simple to literally draw a liquidity box from a previous wick and stretch it out. Even on a daily chart, that sucker's relevant, dude. Blows my mind how easy it is to spot those, map them out, and know where your range is expected to be. And look at that, to the
I
damn
wouldn't,
penny. Who'd have thought, right?
Yeah.
We've made a full measured move this morning, just totally respective of a good bullish trend day. Made the third leg measured move extension, and it ends up being right at the top of the box methodically. We've got a chance of continuing out of here. And it's consolidating and looking like it's gonna. But remember, don't trade the setup, trade the break. If it breaks out of this box, let's figure out where it's going next.
Consumer discretionary has been leading the market all day, and now it's from 10:30, pretty much on the dot. It started to pull back. So the question is if it looks like the consumer discretionary was the one that was leading the market. I think that's let me check XLV. XLV is consumer discretionary, right?
Let me see.
Let me check.
I have my
Yep.
list of SPDRs.
Yep.
Yeah. Wait, XLV?
XLY.
XLY. Yeah, XLY.
I'm sorry, I'm
is-
saying it. No. Sorry, I
X-
said it in Swedish.
Yeah.
XLE.
Gotcha. As it's XLE is energy.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
It's always when you're spelling things out, I switch back to Swedish. So it's it always messes me up.
Gotcha. When I make a funny analogy about that, and I notice that a lot of people I know who are more than bilingual tend to have the same issue. And I relate it back to an old episode of Married with Children, where Bud was talking about Kelly, and he's like teaching Kelly something new. He's like, she had to forget things that were just basic in order to make room for remembering these things he's trying to teach her. And he's
I remember that episode.
it's like,
Awesome.
think of a mind like a shot glass, and you're pouring knowledge in from a gallon jug. You're gonna spill some. That makes sense for me. So,
Yeah.
but when you have a lot of stuff floating around up there, it's like you got a lot of variables that sometimes will creep in,
Oh yeah.
and it just takes over your knowledge while you're analyzing stuff, and
Yeah.
you start doing it in a totally different way that you didn't mean to.
Yeah.
I call that the gallon jug and shot glass effect. All right,
I
so we
still
got,
love that show.
yeah, me too. I still do. Got two
Yeah.
key pivot areas here, just on our daily chart from SPY. And I was trying to map them out real quick. Right at the top of this bar, and right at the top of this bar. Ignore this one. But this wick tells you all you need to know. There's a second liquidity zone that overlaps this one. So if we can't break out of here, we'll stay in the box. But if we do break out of this box, we're just going to be put in another box. So just kind of know where those pivots are. They're right there, 412.50 and 413.50-ish. I mean, it comes to 413.60. I'm going to adjust the damn thing. I know SPY likes to try and stick to, whole quarters or 50-cent pieces or dollars, typically.
Let's see what we have going on with.
And
I think we're going to continue down, man. I mean, that's not something I'd trade on right now, but it's just.
it's looking like it. I mean, we could go and retrace this. That would be the healthy
Yeah.
thing for SPY to do.
Yeah.
We've got 2 control areas within that area, so the measured move, of course, sets up both consolidation zones. So you got if this then that. So if you break, 410.70 here,
Yep.
that's one target. Second target would be the full consolidation retrace, which would be down to here, about 410.35. And these are just short term. These are day trading setups. You could be a bear to here, and if it breaks that with force, it'll be pretty clean to go to the next target. The whole shebang is a base of this control bar here on a 1-minute chart, and that goes to like 410.10.
Yep.
And if it
We
breaks
have,
410.10, it's likely to break 410. So, if it breaks through that with some force, the momentum could take it all the way to the opening low.
Yeah, we have tick heading down, falling off a cliff. Basically, tick Q also falling.
Nice.
Korean not being happy. In bearish zones.
It's the right thing to do.
And trend for the NQ is also just like a little bit extreme right now and falling off. That one always confuses me because it's opposite. If it's below 1, it's bullish, and if it's above 1, it's bearish. And right now it's at 2.5.
Right.
And we have the dollar climbing.
Ah, there it is.
Yep.
And I actually watched Adam Koo last night. I was watching a video where he was talking about all that, all the different things that happen with the market versus currency for correlation.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime the dollars gain strength, the market will short-term pull back, but it will usually trend with the dollar, so it'll eventually go up. But in the short term, when you have the dollar losing value, the market will also go up sharply. It'll go parabolic on you. So when you get a big, steep drop in the value of dollar, just have that common analogy of, okay, well, all of your material goods, everything in the market will be worth more dollars if the dollar is worth less. Kind of a simple thing. So in short-term analysis, that works out great. Anytime you see a rapid drop in the dollar, usually equities will pop up with it. When it's a really strong push on a dollar in the short term, oftentimes equities will be driven down, like we're seeing now. The dollar's popping. The equities become worth less dollars. So of course you're going to see a pullback in the short term, but in the long term, it's always just a long general uptrend. I mean, you look at the, go look at the market on a monthly chart. Look back. How long has it been bullish for? And if we wanted to compare a chart with the dollar, I'm pretty sure it would pretty much show you that it generally short term will go down a little bit, but for the most part will go up.
But yeah, that's the if you put the dollar to not if you do it with adjusted for inflation. If you
Right.
adjust the dollar, what are we going to call it? I mean, just it's not an indice, but if you want a dollar index, whatever. If you compare it adjusted for inflation comparison to SPY, it's not a constant rise in value the same
Right.
way.
Did you guys read? I read over the weekend. I don't know if it's true or not, but I believe Brazil, China, Russia—they're all trying to build their own currency now.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
BRICS, they called it, I guess. Yeah, I was looking at that too.
That's gonna
And
be interesting.
it's funny because in that same video I was watching where Koo was comparing the dollar to the general markets and also comparing the dollar to other currencies, when you realize that all of these currencies but one are a fiat currency, and recently the ruble, the Russian ruble, was a fiat currency, and then they tanked it on purpose and then switched it to the gold standard. Well, unless you can get all these other countries to also switch to a gold standard, it's not going to mean anything. Currencies are always depreciating assets. So like inflation will always take currencies down, and it's just whichever one evaporates fastest is going to be the loser. And of course, the one that evaporates the slowest is going to be the winner. That's the thing. Even though we've had a rapid increase in inflation in the US dollar, it's not like hyperinflation. And although, you know, everybody coming up with their own currency to settle each other's transactions is fine, it's still going to be based on yet another fiat currency. It's going to be, you know, something that depreciates over time. So in the short run, it may make a quick run on the dollar. It may drop it down quite a bit, just like they did when they came out with the euro, where a bunch of European nations basically just dreamed up their own fiat currency and went with it. It did great for the first while, and then for a while it was beating the dollar, and then all of a sudden, you get all this current situations even in the last decade over in Europe, and down she goes, a little faster than the dollar now. So,
Well, I mean, it's not really a fair comparison because you can't settle oil contracts in euros,
right.
whatever. You know? So I mean, but if you could settle in other currencies, then I mean,
Well, there's other commodities too. I mean, look at what China did. They settled their liquid natural gas commodities purchases in yen.
yeah, but that was the first time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it doesn't matter because it's one currency versus another. So it's just which currency do you want to exchange your commodity into? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're gonna put it as the same thing with like when you have all these different brokers using the same bank as a clearinghouse, it's the same situation. You're just converting it into another stream. So if it's all based on the dollar anyway, what difference does it make what you settle it in? Is it a political
Well, I
statement?
mean, but it's not going to be based on the dollar anymore, right? I mean, that's the whole. That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the
It'll no
question,
longer
but
be-
and certainly they could go either way with it, but one way or another, it's just another fiat currency. You know, it might in the short term it might do better than the dollar for a while, fine, but inevitably it eventually comes back to competing with the dollar. You know,
Well, that's what I mean. You wouldn't have to compete with the dollar anymore because nobody would have to hold. You wouldn't have to, if you wanted to settle an oil contract. You don't need dollars anymore.
right?
That means there's no competition with the dollar. The dollar is just no longer reserve currency.
Right.
It means that you can, which is, I mean, I think it's going to be, I think it's kind of inevitable now.
Would you be able to trade that in Forex?
Sure.
That
just a
currency
pair.
equal, you can trade anything.
Yeah.
I don't think you can make. You can't. There's nothing you can't trade in Forex, right? I mean, if you're willing to trade in Zimbabwe, whatever they're called.
Right.
I mean, you can do it, right?
I suppose you could. Yeah, you're just trading difference in a currency pair at that point.
Have you guys ever got into Forex trading?
I never
Traded
have,
Forex, but-
but I know that it's all price action, so it's like it can't be that hard to go in and find a chart and be like, oh, just analyze a price action and trade a damn thing. You know?
It's the nice thing about Forex is that it's like the futures, but the volume never dies. Like, you know, if you trade the ES or NQ,
Right.
the volume dies off in the middle of the night. And it gets quieter also. But you have three different. I mean, you can trade the Asia time session, you can trade the Euro time session, or you can trade the US time session.
Right.
The US is the biggest, but you have three sessions to trade actually, or
I
four
follow-
actually, because it's Hong Kong and.
I follow a couple of guys on Instagram, and they do Forex trading. And I see some of their videos that they post up with, and it's basically price action. What they do,
Yeah.
They look for liquidity zones. They do support and resistance, and
It's all the
it
same
seems
thing.
that they're doing very well.
Same. And the thing is that momentum trades work better in Forex than they do in stocks actually.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot better. It's like a 30% more reliable signal in Forex than it is in. There's fewer failed breakouts in Forex.
Right. I can believe that. We're about to break a key pivot here, and there is a measured move set up on the 5-minute chart I just mapped out. That box, this bar, can equal this bar.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I got short at 41.56 in the ES, and I'd like to hold this bitch all the way down to 3,900.
Oh yeah. Right it.
It pissed me off last week with 4 or 5 days straight up in a row. I'm like, come on, you got to pull
Yeah.
back sooner or later.
That was looking
My
pretty
beer is very
parabolic.
grumpy.
You know, and it was pretty easy to just literally pop open a daily chart. Where's the
Yeah.
biggest wick? Right there. We're in the box. A to B, done. No problem.
Yeah.
That was the easiest price action we've had in a long time. And if we get outside this box, if we consolidate in here somewhere in a 50%, probably, we can still remain bullish out of this. But yeah,
Yeah.
this move was parabolic AF, but it was still
Right.
mapped. It was parabolic here too. If you look at the gaps on the daily candles back here, same up here, just a different mix. But it's the same distance. It's a measured move, consolidate, measure move complete, target met, done. Look for a pullback. So it'd be cool if we could pull back down here to 395. No problem. That's a perfect 50% retracement. That'd be the healthy thing to do.
Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. It's looking good right now.
Bam.
Yeah.
I put a
Measure move
short on
complete.
the RTY too this morning pre-market, so I'm real happy right now.
Right.
Nice.
We just stuck that box. That measure move's done right there. Let's see if we get the
Yep.
extension.
Yeah, the RTY is setting up to put in a new low for the day, huh?
FRC hit that 1475, popped the wick up with an inverted hammer, barred down, made 50% retracement right here. Watch for a bounce. And same with SPY here. We picked it with a wick right to the bottom of the box. Look for a bounce. Short-term retrace on the 5-second chart goes to 410.05. If I can get the damn line to work. It disappeared. Oh, man. I'll wait for another Webull update, and hopefully they'll fix that. That's crazy.
Dow is about it's just at the 50% retracement now. So this looks like a really good spot to if things are going to bounce. This is a perfect spot to do it in, huh?
Yeah, I think so. We just wicked out of the bottom of the box here with the 1-minute candle. Let's see if it closes there. Got 17 seconds. Is it a body or a wick? Where's the body stop? If the body stops at the base of the box, oftentimes you get a bounce. Micro, double bottom. R1 is up here at 409.95. Key first resistance is 409.70. We're just on that right now at the 8-period shift here. It'll either break a bear flag and get the extended move down here to just below the 1-minute 200, about 409.40, or it'll bounce here. We'll watch the 5-second chart. It'll give us a signal. Tesla's right back to that 195 pivot again. And Tesla made a perfect 50% retracement of that trend here.
Yep.
Love to see it just rip a face off right here, but we'll see what happens. All right. Closed inverted hammer. We're going to get the extension.
Ooh.
Faster than I could say it. How do we find where it goes next? Opening range low is almost exactly half that box from that daily wick, right? Pretty simple to put a pivot there. call it 408.90. And it doesn't have to be dead center, it's just about. But we've come exactly to the top of that wick. This is the midpoint of that wick. The body of that inverted hammer is all the way down here at like 407. And again, if you're just checking us out now, all it is based on the daily chart. We go this inverted hammer right here on the 16th of February. We're just making a box on that wick. And actually, the bottom's a little lower than the body of that candle. Now that I'm looking at it. It's about lined up. It's close enough. So we got 1 bar, 2 bar. This is where we look for our exhaustion bar, right? So we want to see this one close with a big lower wick. On the 5-minute chart, it's still got 2 minutes. Watch the 1-minute chart and see which part of it gives us a signal for a reversal or a pullback. Double bottom failed. If you notice, it came to its median, and the breakover point was right here. How easy would it be to take a trend continuation off of the signal from that 8 period crossing below the 20?
The 20 is your blue line?
Yeah.
You have it as a... Yeah.
And then
Oh, this is getting a bit ugly, man.
down here, we're under the 200 on the 1-minute chart. We got a bar and a
Yeah.
spinner. Typically, when we get these, if it breaks and opens the third candle underneath the body of the spinner, usually it resumes and will complete this as a bearish measured move. In this case, the end pattern. About 409.05 would be the reach on that thing expected. But look at the 5-second chart. Another double bottom. Sometimes you'll get a
Wow.
morning star out of this, and it'll start out looking like it's going to be a bar spinner bar for a bearish measured move. And the time you trade the break is when you get a candle close above the previous body of this spinner. So we got this little, it's actually looking more like a rounding bottom.
It's almost retracing that whole move this morning.
Right. Because your opening low is here, this pivot here. So this is what's expected, but this is where if you wanted to go and buy a bunch of buy into people selling and buy the dip, so to speak, to rip it back up for retrace, that's a quick day trade setup, but only if this follows through as a reversal. If not, we can resume this trend and still equal this bar down below this support line, and that would hit right about that pivot. This is where that 5-second chart tells you exactly what side to be on and when to be on it.
So the somebody just came out and wagging their tongue and saying that the OPEC cutting production is going to worsen inflation, meaning that multiple signals they're going to raise rates higher than 5%.
Sure.
Yeah, which was not a surprise to anybody. I don't understand why, but it was pretty well timed with the pullback here.
Oh, of course. Just
It makes you wonder if this seems like a pretty coordinated effort to like screw the states over a little bit, but
Oh yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Oh man, it's funny when you have economic partners in the world, yet they're neither your friend nor your enemy. Just business, man. You know?
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think OPEC would. I think OPEC is pretty much. You know, there's nobody in OPEC who loves the states and
No.
wants to sell. You know,
No.
well, Saudi Arabia maybe.
The funny part is, all we do is flip sides of who's in the White House, and that changes completely.
Yeah.
Like literally, we could say, "To hell with you guys. We'll make our own oil and export our own oil, and compete with you."
Yeah.
And we've got the ability to ramp up production, as was evidence in the
We
previous
were going down
administration.
that path, and then
Yeah.
we took a hard right turn or left turn.
Yeah. We were quite independent, and
It
we've
was
shown our
retarded
teeth.
that they did that. It's just like, come on, man. Just because you
Yeah.
hate somebody doesn't mean you have to. I mean, even a blind pig is right a couple times. Whatever,
Yeah.
they could have used that. Like, yeah, well, he just
Yeah.
got lucky. Whatever, but don't screw over the American people.
Yeah.
Anyway, soapbox getting down.
Oh, I know. It's a big political thing, and one way or another, we know where the party lines are. That's fine, but what do the people want and need? That's what's more important. So, they say like if you're gonna go and pick a party, you pick ignore the party and pick the person who represents your
Yeah,
ideals.
or pick your nose. It's all the same.
Right. Yeah.
We have absorption right here at this in the ES that's holding, but if
Yeah.
it breaks, I think we could go to the low of the overnight pretty
Yep.
quickly, which is what 41.22.
I think that's where we're heading anyway.
I have a feeling I would like it to go there because I'm still short, but I'm just debating on whether I want to take my money and run.
Yeah.
I mean, we could hit that low, but first we got to break the opening low. It's right
Yep.
here, 408.90.
It's just below us, and we've got I mean, it wasn't a tremendous amount of absorption, so we could blow through it. But right now, it doesn't feel like we're gonna. We kind of stopped abruptly.
That's about a 10-point move from here, really. So
Yeah. Well, compared to what we just did, it's not that far, right? Relatively speaking.
and we've
But
got
it seems like the sellers have taken their foot off the brake.
yeah, I think so.
But that was a pretty fast pullback.
We've got consolidation here that will either break over and finish that move or reverse right here on the 5-second chart, plain as day. So if we break here, we'll retrace here. That's first.
Well, there's your answer.
Fail. Bam. Yep.
Hmm.
Finish the move to the opening low. That's what's on the radar.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like we've shown our teeth in the market. Though is what I'm saying is that we all know as well as the world we can be independent. We can make our own energy and just basically give them the
We
proverbial
just
middle
have to
finger.
have the will,
Exactly.
So we'll see. Oh yeah, I think we're gonna go on down. This feels much better now.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I moved my stop down to just over 38, but I think I might. We're gonna retrace a little because we left some zero prints there, but
Yeah.
let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, the buyers, man, the buyers kill me. Why are people buying this market? This is
Yeah.
retarded.
Well, there's the BTFD crowd, and then there's the
Diamond hands. I'm like, you guys are nuts. Just
ST
nuts.
STRF or sell the STFR, sell the freaking rip.
Mm.
Forward breaking on down.
Let's see, we got what, 2 more points to break the regular trading? Or we're going.
One.
Come on, Ben.
Nasdaq just did
I'd
it.
like to see 4,100 here before lunchtime. Come on.
Right.
It's so sad that I enjoy shorting so much because I realize that people are getting slaughtered.
I love being a bear.
That's the way to go.
It's always I mean, it's just so fast. Like every time you look at it, whether you're on a 1-minute chart or a daily chart, slow stare right up, window down.
Nasdaq just bounced off like the
We bounced off the opening
retraced the
low.
entire move. Yep. Yeah, the ES did.
Nice. All right. So, in the meantime, we got Tesla kind of consolidating with the bar. I think this is just a pause, though. Same with SPY, and I pulled up Ford just because I'm looking at my strangle going, I think I'm good to have sold that call against the other call. Now we just wait for the put side to go down, and we can sell a put against it. Ford is so easy to chart, dude. I'm always blown away by how easy that is.
Nine.
Made 1, 2, 3, and the extension. Here's your pivot point. If it break this, we'll likely head for 12 bucks. Pretty simple, right? Daily chart on that thing. You could literally just draw your line here and know it rejected it. If it closes inverted hammer here, it'll almost certainly hit that $12 bill.
Well, I got to take off, guys. All the best today. Take care.
Have a good
And
one.
thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah, man, you too. I love me some price action.
Take care.
What else we got here? Intel pulling back off of a $33 push. A
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
looking like
stuff
things
is.
going to bounce a little bit.
I think we're going to consolidate most of the noon hour here.
Lunchtime session.
And as long as we hold that opening range low for support, we'll be good for another bull run, at least back to retracement, which is this guy here, about 410.30, 410.50 in that range. It's almost time to call it though, man. We've had a pretty easy day so far,
Yeah, nice, simple. This is the way we like it.
right? Not a bunch of flapping gums to mess us up today. I mean, there were a couple, but it didn't mess us up. We were expecting it. Let me get this out of our way. There we go.
Surprised that Russell pulled back as much as it did. It really fell off a cliff, man.
I need to look at IWM. So remember, I've been talking about the Russell being kind of a leader. Went and bounced up, and we got the in-between pivot right here, about 180. Nailed that with a wick. Now that's also where the 200 period is. This is either going to be a double bottom and consolidate for a bullish move, or a bear flag with a peak, the pop and drop bear flag I like to call it, where you consolidate, you get above, reach for a target, reject it, and run down. If it breaks 168, it is good news bears, because we'll get this full measured move to the downside. We'll start approaching 162 and 150 respectively. Look at the bigger picture. This is a weekly chart. Had our bull move, measure move up, consolidate, measure move up, consolidate, break over, retrace here, bearish measure move to complete 50% retracement here. And we're at that tipping point, very similar to what we're seeing with SPY. Everything's consolidated on long-term charts. We can either melt up or rip down.
I think we ripped down. Just feels like that.
Short term, medium term, we were bullish. We've already made all those targets work. Same here. We're consolidated. We're at the point where if we break down, we break that key pivot, this whole move gives us two pivots here, the 162 and a 150 on IWM. And then if we breach that, we'll finish all the way back down here. Pardon me, my voice is kind of cracking. I think the pollen's starting to fly.
That's a pretty good, like, talking about correlations. It's amazing to think that that's market, when you look at the charts like that, to think that that's a market that's 98.5% correlated with, NASDAQ.
Right.
Which is it's just crazy. But if the Russell gives up the ghost, then, I mean, that's a pretty good that everything else is going to be crashing at the same time.
Yep. It'll all roll with it.
Yep.
And it's like all the price action setups that we've practiced every day on a 5-second chart. It's all right there. The same damn thing. Wow, we're ripping. Broke the opening range low.
Little bears going, yay!
Yay!
I'm 100 ticks and plus going.
Nice work.
I just wish I had 10 contracts on instead of 2.
Hey, those base hits add up.
That's not a base hit for me. That's a pretty good. I'd say
It's a
that's a
homer.
home run for the day.
Nice.
I did the math. I lost sleep this weekend. I'm like, we moved up 200 points in 2 trading days, 3 trading days. We
Yeah.
could easily undo that this week. Easily. I'm like, if I could just get 2 contracts on early
Yeah.
and ride that bitch all the way down. There we go. 100 ticks. That's a $20,000 trade
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yes, ma'am.
in a week.
Yep.
That's the way to do it.
You don't have those opportunities very often. So when you see those parabolic moves, and it was tough this morning because we pushed up so hard. I'm like, oh, are we going to go up another 50 points? Because you can get run over really easy trying to short. It's hard to be a bear, but it's so satisfying when you get it right.
I got flamed on Facebook last week. Someone out there was saying it was like one of those copycat trading outfits saying, we'll give you the picks and you just buy and hold, and we average about 15% a year returns. I'm like, wow.
I would sell and hold before I would buy and
Yeah.
hold. I'm sorry.
I put in a comment. I'm like, 15% a year. That's cool. How about 15% a day?
Right?
And someone's like,
I have a little, it's not really a hedge fund, but I trade with other people's money a little bit. And I give them basically a guarantee of 15% per year because
Yeah.
I know I can hit that and
That's
set
easy.
it aside. And yeah. So even if I have a really bad day or a really bad week or a really bad month, I know I cannot lose their money. But
Right.
the money that I can trade for myself in that is just, it's insane. So
Mhm.
as long as you don't get too greedy,
Exactly. Just those
and
little
that's,
base hits, man. Add them up.
yeah, it's, I mean, literally just 1% a day. If your account's a good
Tesla
size,
broke.
I mean, bam,
If you do 1% a day, I mean, after
that's
No,
200% a year, man.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And if it's growing, if you're compounding, I mean, the
what is it?
math
It's like
is ridiculous.
4,000% or
Yeah.
something like that.
If you have $100,000 account, 10 people with $10,000, and you can trade that safely, you can make a shit ton of money. But it takes a long time to learn how to do it and do it safely.
Oh
You
yeah.
got to put guardrails up and all that kind of stuff. But it's a no-brainer to learn how to do this.
Yep. That's just it. That's just the whole point. It's just price action, and you just
And if it takes you 10 years to figure it out,
yeah.
who cares? You survive for 10 years until you figure it out, and then you can do this. Anybody can do this. It just takes time to learn it.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then for me, I'm slowly growing my working capital, but I'm also living off of it. So I mean, like I'm taking distribution, like a paycheck every week. A certain percentage goes to the portfolio growth, which is minimum 15% a year. The rest is paying my bills.
Yeah, you really have to run it like a business, and you have to reassess it. I do it quarterly. Go through the numbers and see if I can give myself a raise or
Right.
that sort of thing. I put different buckets. I have different buckets for different. Like I have a horse bucket.
You have a horse bucket? I like that.
I have a horse bucket.
Horse
Well,
bucket.
that horse bucket it's a big bucket. I got 2 babies due. One due day after tomorrow. We're on baby watch right now,
Mhm.
and we have a full moon this week. So
It's coming.
she'll wait till Saturday night, and have some kind of weird whatever. Because I like to get the vet out within 24 hours just to pull blood work and make sure they're all good. And I don't want to make a vet come out on Easter Sunday. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's mean. Well, I know a guy who's on call.
Right? You
Right in my
might need to
neighborhood.
give him my phone number, or vice versa.
Yeah. I'll get his card next time I see him.
Are you guys living around the same area?
And she's out in Virginia Beach, and I'm more central towards Richmond.
Oh, yeah.
But my horses are halfway between the two of us. Actually,
Yeah.
probably a little closer to Richmond, the south end of Richmond, anyway.
Down
Hey, I'm
like
gonna luck out with a vet then, huh? That's perfect.
yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Your vet
You
probably
guys,
lives in my
you gotta
neighborhood.
bring the kids out to see the babies. The babies are so cute. They're just adorable. And when we get 2 of them, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, we're building up some momentum here. We're
Yeah.
picking up steam.
We're going to smack at least halfway to the bottom of the box here, which is probably about 408.
And there's some old UB sitting down here around 25, 41, 25 in the ES. And we've got some orders sitting there. So
Liquidity
that'll
zones,
act
guys.
like a magnet. We may bounce off of that.
Liquidity zones are awesome.
You can see them that way too.
Yep.
I mean, you see them in a different way. I see the actual numbers sitting there. And
Yeah. I just literally drew a box right around this wick right here.
really, I mean, look at the YM. It has a long ways. It's lagging compared to these other two. If it lets go, we could have some serious fun.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys, I need to jump off. I'm getting Lucian's
Yeah.
giving me a call. I'll talk to you later.
Oh, no worries. I got some stuff to work out on my end too, so
All right. Have a good one.
Down to get pizza in a minute.
different things. I got to go finish moving some funds around and get some other stuff going too, so
I got to book airline tickets to Cancun.
there you go. That's on my agenda for at some point this summer. I've got to take a vacation.
Yeah, we bought these. We did I'm involved with the Princess Anne hunt, the fox hunting group over in Williamsburg.
Oh, cool.
And last year at our hunt ball, we had an auction, and we bought a trip to 7 days to Cancun for like $2,000, and it's like, I don't know, it's $700 a night now.
Yeah, no kidding. That's pretty good. Good
So
deal.
now flights and yeah, we're gonna go the second week of May, I think.
Bam.
All right, now we're getting down to some interesting. There's a lot of buyers right here. We'll see if we slice through them or if they're gonna hold us. So that was a pretty darn good move.
I watched this little channel right here. Went right to a full bull measured move. 50% to the dot. Boom. On a 5-second chart. Done. I think we're going to triple top here and roll past it. This will be a bear flag breakover off the end.
Well, you know that would make me happy.
But it's got to break 408.50.
408.50 on the SPY. I mean, like 408. We're at 408.61. Okay.
Alrighty. I'm probably going to hang for another minute or two and I got to get going. Too much stuff to do.
You back later, Jeremy, for Power Hour? Or not?
I think I can make it at least for the last half of it. I think what I'll start doing, because I've been kind of hit or miss on that. I'll make it a habit to where at least by 3:30 I will post and tag at here so everybody gets an alert in the stream chat to whether or not I'm going to be able to make it for the last half of Power Hour. So like if I'll post at here, I'll be live in a few minutes, or at here, I'm not going to make it today. So something like that.
No worries.
It's been kind of hit or miss, and sometimes I'll be here and the price action will just suck. So like basically just sit there and shoot the breeze and talk about options. Or the other part of it is sometimes I'll catch a really good Power Hour where I'll make it and we can have some good trades. Other times it's like I'll miss it. So
I'm gonna find a quiet half an hour to catch you to go over these fan lines again.
Yeah.
Just to drum it into my stupid skull exactly what it is we're trying to achieve, because it's iterative. I need to go over this a few times before I understand it. But I won't do it in the morning sessions. I'll try and catch you after in the Power Hour or something. All right.
sure, it's a disruptive way to look at things. So it's quite different, and it's going to take a few times to get it. But
Yes, sir.
it comes down to like you learn how to draw them all, and then you can narrow it down to just a few. And realistically, you can do anything with 3 fan lines.
I was trying it last week and I got lines all over the place. It's chart evil, not chart nasty. And
Right, right.
yeah, it starts off looking like a right mess. But yeah, I'll catch up with you. If not today, sometime in the week. And yeah, no worries.
And it's just it's a disruptive way to look at things. But once you can narrow it down to the simplicity of it, you can do it without thinking. It's just simply let the lizard brain do its thing. Like I could draw 2 lines back here from this wedge and find the range right here. Oh, pardon me, I had a hiccup. And I can go in here, split that. So this wedge right here effectively set up this action here. And that's the whole basis of fan lines. You find a root, and it can be any consolidation, find the shape of it, draw a trend line, and extend it way out. So if price is going to be consolidating in a known range, you can pick exactly where it's going to expect a pullback, retracement, turnaround, whatever. You're going to find it's going to react to one of these lines or the other or both. And then the third line is simply drawing a regression. So you can start back here in the root. You can go back to these candles and line it down, or you can just go straight for the convergence and split it. It's a simple regression line. Once you have just that basic knowledge of where to start looking for where to draw your lines, that's the key to it. Once you can just sort of glance at the chart and know about what you're looking at for where the trend line should be, you've done it. It is stupid simple and stupid hard at the same time.
Yeah,
got it.
I'm starting to notice this with trading. It is simple, but there's a lot that goes into it before it sinks into that lizard brain.
Right.
And when it's in the lizard brain, everything's simple. But the instinct takes a while to develop, you know. So yeah, what you've just done there actually was really quite helpful. I can see what you're getting at. It's all about bisecting things, isn't it?
A lot of it. And it's just like not only bisecting things, but running those lines out much further than they're useful here. So like we know there's a wedge here. Easy. Okay, that was a pretty easy consolidation point for a bullish measured move. The point is that once you've mapped that, draw it way out. And there'll be other lines here. So like if you were to draw this as a wedge, you would have also a line going this way. You know, it'd probably be something like that, to where you could spot this wedge and this wedge with that third line. So look over here, that extension comes right to the bottom of a control bar. And then a breakover. So it's relevant. It's relevant then and it's relevant later. The whole point is to know about where those should be. You could draw another line like up from this point down, through this other wedge of consolidation, and you can have your extension. So through here, from here, over the top of this control bar. If this breaks out and goes for a full bullish measured move, you expect a consolidation right outside this angular resistance, and then a run up to here. And then don't forget to bisect it. So you have your divergence here. You can run it straight down through here. Consolidates into those bars, converges here. You'd have 1,000 lines on your chart by the time you're done with this, but the key point is knowing which ones are most important, and that's where the first 3 that I drew were the most important. And again, another bisection.
Yeah, I can see it. I'm just
Yeah.
going to watch you drawing lines a couple of times a week, and I'll get it.
So 2 things happen here. You have a descending channel with a regression line. If it can break this angular resistance, usually you get a measured move outside of the channel, right? So regression to angular is your measured move leg. If it gets out of this, it'll certainly go here. It's a full measured move. But if it fails here, it comes back to regression, and then you get a bearish measure move to the angular support. It's a quick combination of knowing what lines are most important, and the most important part is knowing what to do with them when you get there.
You know, I'm watching you draw that from scratch, whereas last time I was watching you work with the lines that you'd already drawn up. And now I can see you starting from scratch with those first few lines. It's a lot easier to understand what you're trying to say.
Right. It just comes down to keeping it absolutely as simple as possible. And those first 3 lines were very simple.
What I might try and do is catch you in the evening session sometime this week, get a fresh chart, and you can explain your logic behind how you're charting it up and do it from scratch, you know?
Right. We might just get a little bullish measure move back to the 200 about. And the first thing that made me figure these things out to begin with was just spotting where the channels were expected to be. You know, those 3-legged channels were like plentiful, and it gave me lots of opportunity to learn them over and over and over again like a drill. And anytime I've seen a channel do this, it gets the third impulse. Well, this channel only has it on the bottom regression. This is where it broke out. And there's your breakout of angular resistance. That's a measured move. Once you identify...
Well,
Go ahead.
When you say measured move, you mean like you can predict it, yeah?
Yeah. So like, if you have a regression line that's pretty regular and you've got price action up to angular, your short-term measured move on this 1-minute chart, if it breaks out of this consolidation, now it's on top of that angular resistance. It's as simple as finding out where the target would be outside the box. So if it continued to break out of this, a bullish measured move would take it just a hair under the 200 period.
That's fine. I know what you mean, because that's what I was doing before. I just didn't realize that it was called measured moving as well. Yeah, thanks.
And then if it fails, well, you've got a key support point here. That's kind of funny that the 20 period's right there. That would take you, by the time price action gets here, right back to the regression line.
I was just about to say, I bet you that rectangle fits underneath and hits that white line as well. Yeah, you can see how it all comes together, can't you?
Mm-hmm. So it's knowing where the inflection points are going to be your angulars, and what to do with it is how you react to the breakout. So once it breaks out, you know where the target is. So instead of getting mixed up in the setup, you wait for the break and you know where the target is. You can trade to the target pretty readily.
Got you.
It's recognizing the break and knowing when to get into it is the important part.
Can you stick that rectangle back over the the
So it was here.
What do you call it? No, where where to see if it breaks out, basically. Yeah, the initial
Gotcha.
point. Thank you. So we're waiting for it to break out up to the
Yep.
upside or the downside to see what happens. All right, cool.
Exactly. And we're just outside the angular resistance. And it's just kind of consolidating through it. It can ooze through it, so to speak.
Yeah,
But
this
if it-
isn't much of a bounce, so
No.
but well for further short. I went flat just because I want to take all I can and
Right.
wait for another possible entry.
If it fails to get outside of angular resistance and get outside of this measured move, we already know where the bearish measured move is. So here's your support line, the bottom of the box. All you do is drag your box down. There's your bear target. That quick.
Stick a couple of rectangles for the if and else possibilities. Go on, just for good measure.
Sure.
Sorry, I always order you around on your charts, like do this and do that. Sorry, mate.
No, I appreciate it. You can order me around anytime. So it matches the height of that box. Doesn't have to match the length. Yeah, if I can get it to line up. There we go. Close enough. If we break angular and we break this resistance, the third box, I'll match this box with. So your breakout target for bulls would be up here, about 409.40. And it can go either side of this box. This is your consolidation box. This is your breakout bear box. This is your breakout bull box.
Got you.
It's threatening that bull box. And then the key to having those fan lines is knowing where to expect this to happen. To consolidate and break bearish, consolidate and break bullish, or stay flat for days. We could just keep dragging these boxes all the way on a chart and just know where that range is. Whenever you get a range will consolidate, and a range will always break. You don't always have the answer of which side it's going to break to until you see the actual breakout point. Damn, IWM is kind of weird looking, isn't it? 1, 2, 3 big bars down, exhaustion here. Retraces 178. There's some healthy bar. Let's see if we continue. On top of the 8 period. I had the pivot lines on the 5-second chart because it wouldn't let me draw angulars. And you can think of these as just basically what we're seeing here. It's just boxes. They just happen to be with pivot lines instead of actual boxes. There we go. This is where the expected break would be. Also, where you watch that 1-minute chart, you can get what's known as the tweezer here, where you get 2 equal bars. Five-second charts coming to threaten that. Let me get this fully sized. There we go. With the time of day it is, this may very well just do absolutely nothing, but there's a tweezer here. In spite of us being outside of angular resistance, this is a sign of possible bearish reversal right here at the break between the 2 boxes.
Well, it hasn't broken into the upper box, has it? A bullish box.
Not fully.
That's not a break.
Nope. I mean, it poked it. You got a full bar into it, but there was no continuation here. Once this bar broke over, it didn't quite break the close of this box, or this bar. That is a sign of reversal, but we got to follow through. It can end up like this, where you just get this long, drawn-out consolidation sideways, but with big bars. So it sets up a range. This is like just algos fighting with each other. There's no actual trade here yet until you see a break. Not for us. Big spinner. We could get a retrace back to the top of that, but you know, I don't see it going beyond like 409.12 yet. No, it's not even going to do that.
So I started studying for my Series 3 test.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. I've been thinking about it for years, and I'm like, it takes a little bit of concentration. But I took a test, like a pre-test, and I scored high enough to actually pass it without studying. So I'm like,
Sweet.
might be worth going ahead and studying for a couple of months and just taking it.
So that's one for your trader license, right?
Yeah, because I'm thinking about like putting myself out there as a hedge fund, small, like for small accounts. I don't
Right.
want, it's too much.
I
too much pressure to trade big money, but
I think you can do it with Series 3 up
well, you can
to.
do it without anything as long as you're not doing it like publicly. You can do friends
Right.
and family up to like 15 people. So, but it's a feather in the cap, and it
Yeah.
does. But if you go out there and put yourself out there as
There's your
a
breakout.
potential, you know, money manager for other people's funds, then you got to at least cover your ass.
Right. You gotta have some.
And it's, you know, makes you more attractive, you know, to have some kind of a license and that
Oh,
sort
for
of
sure.
thing. I think there's just going to be mayhem in the markets by the end of the year, and it'll be super easy to help people, especially with their IRAs and stuff, to recover money
Yeah.
that will be lost this
Yeah.
year.
There'll be plenty of opportunities, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Here we go, almost at our bull target. We went to the bull box.
As opposed to the Boo Box.
Right, right.
One of the best movies ever.
And, you know, all we had to do was look for the regression line, find the measured move, stack some boxes. I'm not even exactly to it, it's just close. I paired it with the top of this bar rather than the regression line. And then I can adjust that. There, that looks better. It's that old adage, when you start from a single point, if you're off by a millimeter here, you can be off by a mile here. We just about topped the top of that box. There's your Busby. If we hold the 8 period here, we can get one more quick rip to the top of the box, but that's a classic 3-bar right there. Or a classic third candle, I should say. Second bar. Anyway, I got a ton of stuff to do. So I'm going to go eat some lunch before the market eats my lunch. And then get some stuff done around the house. I got a lot of stuff I'm doing. And then I've got to go talk to a couple people, and I'm hoping I can be back by power hour. So again, I'll tag at here in the chat here, regardless of whether I'm going to be here or not. I'll just put a little message next to it. I'll be live or not going to make it.
All right. See y'all later.
See you later.
Thanks, Jeremy. Thank you. Bye.
No problem. And again, I'll leave my charts running so you guys can kind of see what I'm thinking. But I'll tag it off the YouTube, and I'll see you guys later. Have a great one.
Bye.